For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room. I don't know what the reason was yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white cloth and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that. You had to hide the coat in your locker. Not bad, huh, partner? Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated you all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only as half as persistent as you are today, we all wouldn't have been here now, would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. Alright. Seems the time has come. Oh damn, I've already been recording for about 40 minutes. I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID, dressed up like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins, so I knocked him out. Managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 515. So, the supposed victim was really you. But there is one thing I still don't understand. Large quantities of blood traces were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is that he's the donor. It looked like too much blood for that. When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since the case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transfer that day. Not if I had anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only a detective who was in charge of it can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look for myself one more time. No matter what the cause. I don't care what anyone else says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed up like him. I have an idea. Nope. Idea didn't work. Abandoned ship. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So, you did it. You did it to fool the security cameras. On the detective's ID card. I stole that the morning of the incident. So that was really why Goodman started filling out that lost items report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite you lacking in foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Normally, that locker shouldn't have opened. So it opened because a rubber glove was stuck in the door by chance? Then Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time.
Officer Meekins certainly is a 1 in a million type person, mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID.
I have to think a little more about his raises here. Where did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me, and I ended up cutting him slightly. Sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say.
So what happened next?
So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make much of a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in with the struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing at that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby.
So what you're saying on that day is...
But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner. So, you stole the evidence from the locker. Actually, no I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
What? Mr. Ashworth, where's that evidence?
And it's still missing on it. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It just can't be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one's mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with.
The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice there, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, you received the same lousy prosecutor award you got.
What? A prosecutor?
You must be talking about the King of Prosecutors award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands.
But what is his relation to you?
He was my brother. He was investigating the murders of Damon Gant and the chief detective at the time. The group of detectives I was part to work under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark, and was killed. It was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally over. At least according to the public records.
What do you mean?
My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it. That's your reason for your insane actions. There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me.
Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we all know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day SL9 case would be reopened. Unsatisfied with this resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happen by chance never ceases to amaze. At the exact same time as the murder in the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's gotta be more than just that.
So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office's parking lot was the real one.
Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lawrence Sky. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in a trial yesterday. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet to remain the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. Seems to me, this boy got a draw on you, partner. All the mysteries of the police department have been uncovered. No contradictions. The murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lawrence Sky, There were no errors in the testimony of the witness, Angel Star. If you have a response, make it in one word or less.
Ah!
I rest my case.
It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty.
Now then, the time for a verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Whoa!
Your Honor, wait! Emma! The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right?
Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor.
Oh, in a sense. Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking is a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out that the SL9 incident referring to the Joe Dart killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky Sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprints had nothing to do with the crime. I left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean like the trace of the blood found on the Detective Gumshoe's locker?
But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured that if I examined it scientifically, I'm sure that I'd find a clue. So, I ran over there and looked again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can find something wrong with him, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy.
Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regarding to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain?
It appears that the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I couldn't be more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, what it will be?
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day.
Yes, Your Honor. If I ever needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint what could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is you're grasping, Mr. Wright.
You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on here? Yes. Something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of this blood mark.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use.
The question is, which item can prove something is missing from the floor plans?
No, shh! You fucking controller! That is so long as he's facing the general direction. It seems Mr. Wright's not so sure of which direction to face. Yeah. I went to the right one, but this freaking control stick works like a freaking Smash Brothers, where if you just flick it, you go flying across the screen in Melee. What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force, defender of truth and guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please take a look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So? So watch what happens when you put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well?
Well, what?
That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint on the spot on the locker. What?
So that means... Just what exactly does that mean?
It means it can't be done.
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker.
Don't look at me. I didn't pull it. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, just think it through scientifically. Emma. On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would have been impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in?
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. But how? One time was captured with the tape taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on the tape. It has to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refute you. The murder portrayed in that security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming that this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand that you show evidence that proves it occurred. When did the first incident occur?
To surmise, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jacob Marshall, who was disguised as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. The blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well. Then tell us, when did the first incident occur? Proof must be presented.
Proof that shows that when the murder took place? There's only one piece of evidence that can show that.
Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place?
I'll show you that right after I save. Yeah, that's what I wanted to present. That. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the perpetrator would have to enter the room. In order to do so, an ID card is required.
An ID card? Oh! In the ID card record!
Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at,
let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Ah! Ah! Miles Edgeworth! Just what have you done?
I never figured you had the nerve, boy. Put off the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it.
I'm afraid I don't understand either.
It's clear from this luminal test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice blood. That means the blood came when the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and then clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible.
That would mean the crime must have taken place before Miss Edgeworth entered the evidence room.
Let's take a look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. 777777777. Minus 17. Whoops. Talk about a lucky number.
But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Officer Goodman have entered the evidence room?
Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only possible explanation. He went in with 7777777.
Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 7777777.
That's one 7 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look of the owner of the ID card. At least at present. What? Explain yourself, son. The ID number 7777777 belongs to someone with the rank of a captain or higher. Someone who is so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such person's identity. Well, that's ridiculous. Just how... I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There's one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
If an officer charge filed against an executive is accepted.
An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Now then, let me ask a question. Yes? No, not No, not you. To her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? Don't be stupid. She's been charged with the murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number. And it's not 77777777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I wanted to ask. All I want to know is one thing. About that incident.
About the SL9 incident.
Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really use legitimate evidence? Do you need the witness to repeat this question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him just fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt powerless of the law. At least, I did. Lana! I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what do you say?
I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in the crime, in the eye and say that you did?
Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why don't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana! Even if involved in forging evidence. See? That's what I'm talking about. No. No!
Order! Order! Order!
Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. Well, that's one way to end an episode. So thank you guys so very much for watching. If you like this episode, or possibly episodes, because I might cut this into 2 different parts, hit that like button. If you want to stay up to date for more content on the channel, hit that subscribe button. And as usual, I'll see you guys in the next episodes. Please take care, and as always, have yourself a wonderful day.